Alright, hey guys, so I'm back with my dad again, and we are recapping another episode of Game of Thrones. And this episode was called
Breaker of Chains.
Breaker of Chains. The reason why it's called this episode is because it ends with Khaleesi, and she is trying to recruit yet another group of people to be a part of her infamous
slave freedom train. That's the end parts. We have a lot of stuff that happened in between. First off, we start off Tywin, Theon, so many names to remember. Theon, the little short guy.
Theon, I think it's Theon.
Theon gets whisked off to jail. And after that, we see Sansa is being dragged away by that other guy who was the fool, who used to be a lord, a knight. Right. Well, a knight. He used to be a knight, not a lord. And he drags her off to some little boat. He says, "Come on, you gotta go." And she thinks about it and says, "Yeah, I gotta go because I can't stay here." So he hooks her off in a little boat, and a little rowboat, and they roll around, and they get to a bigger boat. And who is there to receive her but Littlefinger? Littlefinger apparently has planned the whole thing. He had bought this guy off and had him befriend Sansa. And then he put together a whole plan to we don't know how much of a plan he put to capture. I don't know if either this guy just took advantage of the fact that, you know, there was a distraction because Joffrey was dying, or he actually killed Joffrey, poisoned him, which is another possibility. So, because there were those dead birds in the pie that were there, and maybe this guy poisoned the pie. I don't know. Was it the pie or the wine? We don't know yet. So we'll have to wait and see. So what happens next? Then they verify that Joffrey's little brother, I think his name is Brannon or something, he's going to be the next king.
Now this guy seems very innocent.
Yeah, he seems like a kid so far.
Yeah, like he can kind of be, you know, bossed around and...
Right. Manipulated a little bit, which is exactly what Lord Tywin does. He spends the time talking to him and telling him a wise king must listen to his advisors, like me. And he seems to be agreeing for it. Cersei is very upset about her son being killed. And Jaime comes to visit her as she's mourning in the mourning room of Joffrey, as Joffrey lays there, dead as a doornail.
It's hard to discuss me.
And of all things, Jaime gets frisky and rapes Cersei right in the funeral parlor. If you can believe that.
On top of Joffrey's body.
Yeah, practically. I'm almost surprised she didn't just push him out of the way and, Jaime pushed him out of the way and have at it right there. But they were like right there on the burial thing. It was very upsetting. And she was like raped because she was saying no. And Jaime says, "I don't care. I want it anyway." So... they got that brother-sister thing going on. Yeah. You know, it makes me wonder, though, if that's not how they got started originally. You know, did Jaime rape her initially, and he just did it so over the years that, she just got used to it and kind of fell for him. You never know how these things start. Maybe it wasn't so consensual.
That's a good point.
So.
But I'm thinking that she might get pregnant again.
Possible. So you better hurry up and marry that gay brother of the queen, Marguerite, brother. And so also we can see that Cersei is definitely hating Theon. She wants him dead. She didn't even want a trial. Jaime said, "You got to give him a boy, our brother, a good trial." She said, "No, let's just kill him and be done over with it." So
I just feel so sorry for him. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. He's one of my favorite characters on the show.
yeah, everybody likes him.
I just hope that somehow, you know, that he is saved and he's able to get away. Because I'm just tired of that whole thing. And they just treat him like crap. So.
Yeah, if we read the book, we knew it was going to happen. But since none of us are book readers, Game of Thrones at least, we have no idea what's going to happen. And I like it that way. I don't want to be known. Of course, I read those Twilight books. I did kind of like knowing what was going on and then seeing reacted. But Game of Thrones, those books were too big. They were like hundreds of pages each.
I've never seen them.
Oh, they're huge. It's like looking at an encyclopedia.
They're like this big?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, you know, maybe a little smaller than that, but it's along that lines. It's a huge book. And there's, you know, I don't know how many of them. I think there's 7 or 8 or something like that.
Jeez.
4 or 5. I don't know. It's a lot of reading. You got to have a lot of free time on your hands to be reading all that. And probably need to take notes as you read. Keep track of everything that's going on. Alright, so next we have Anra. I keep saying her name wrong. Anra and the Hound. They're traveling together. He was supposed to be taking her back to that aunt and trying to get his reward. But you can see that they're bonding. They're talking a little bit. And she asks him about what his future plans are after he drops her off. And he says, well, I'm going to go sailing. She says, oh, I'd like to go sailing too. So you can see, you know, that they're really bonding together. And they fall upon some poor farmer and his daughter and pretend like, you know, they're going to be nice to them and he'll do some farm work. And you knew that was going to be a big lie. And sure enough, that morning the Hound beat the crap out of him, took his money and said it was just a waste for him. He's going to get killed anyway. So might as well take the money and go anyway. That's his philosophy. So, of course, Anya didn't like that. But what could she do? I mean,
she's a little thing.
Yeah, a little thing, and the Hound can take on 10 men on a good day. So, not much you could do there. All right. What else? Well, next we see Samwell at Castle Black. And he's with the Watchers. And he's quite concerned. He's quite concerned about his girl. Because he says there's 100 men there and only one woman. And he knows where his mind is. So he can imagine their mind is in the same place. And he's thinking, I can't defend her. I'm not a sword fighting guy. Those guys that kick my butt and just take her. So what does he do? He says, well, you got to go someplace else. So he takes her to a horror house. That's a safe
Bad
place.
Bad choice.
Personally, I think she's better off at Castle Rock with the 100 horny guys rather than the horror house.
Those women are eyeing her left and right.
They eyeing her baby. I mean, they might eat the baby. They might sell the baby. Who knows? What goes on back in those days. But he feels better off. At least he won't have to worry about his local boys taking advantage of her. But, I mean, you know, guys wander through those places all the time. And, you know, they take what they want. The whorehouse. They say, hey, it's a whorehouse. So, I don't know. That was his choice. All right. Next, we see Prince Oberyn. Him and his lady friends are just doing some homo orgy kind of stuff. Best way I could describe it. He's with a guy and she's with some ladies. And Lord Tywin shows up, of all people. And Lord Tywin makes him a decent offer. He wants to make him a judge on the Joffrey trial. And he also wants to make him an advisor to the queen. And Prince Oberyn is shocked. He says, what's up with this? And Tywin says, hey, listen, we need you. We heard about that Khaleesi babe. She's got 3 dragons. And we need your people. So Khaleesi is definitely getting known. People are hearing about her. She keeps taking these towns and freeing the people. And they hear those dragons.
They should be knowing about her.
Well, I mean, I'd be concerned myself.
She's about to take over.
I mean, a person with 1 dragon could be a lot. She's got 3 of them, plus an army. I'd be very concerned. Very concerned. All right, and then let's see what we got here. Next, we see Theon in jail. He's not a happy soul. I mean, in jail doesn't look too bad, though. He doesn't look like he was suffering too badly in there. And his boy, Patrick, whatever his name is, smuggles him in some goods, stuff down his pants, give him some relief, and tells him what's going on, on the outside. Tells him that Sansa has disappeared. Nobody knows where she is. And also his girl, they haven't heard anything from her too, so she's probably okay. He also updates him on how the trial is going and who's sitting on the trial and stuff like that. And Theon asked him to get Jaime to come talk to him. And then as Pod is going out, he tells Theon that somebody approached him to lie and say that he saw Theon purchase some poison called the Choker, which would be appropriate. And so at that point, Theon says, man, dude, you gotta get out of town, because you just can't tell those kind of guys no. I mean, they'll just kill you. So he tells him to get out of town. So he's really gonna be alone now. So, all right, next we got some wildlings showing up. Some poor farm town is in their path. And, they got those cannibal wildlings now. And they show up and they just start killing everybody. They started definitely wilding out. And they also catch one poor little boy and say, I'm about to eat your family. But as I eat them, I want you to go tell the people at Castle Black what I'm going to do. So the kid goes to Castle Black and he tells the Watchers that, the wildlings are, they're coming. They're killing in their wake and they're taking no prisoners, eating everybody as they go along. Which is kind of interesting because there's only 100 Watchers. And they really don't stand it. There's like 1,000 or more wildlings. Plus there's giant wildlings, there's cannibal wildlings, and quite honestly, the Watchers don't have a chance.
The Watchers are going to have to team up with Khaleesi, maybe, and see if they can do some things.
I don't know if Khaleesi's interested in teaming up with the Watchers.
Well, I guess we'll have to see.
And she says she's doing her own thing. But I think, I don't think she has to go that way. I think she's already on the other side of that wall. So I don't know how. So they had a little debate about what was the best to do. Should they go fight, the wildlings, or just stay there and try to fortify Black Castle? And I don't think they have a choice. They have to stay there and fortify that castle and get ready for when the wildlings come, because 100 to 1 is not good odds, and you're gonna attack somebody. The best thing they can do is try to defend. They need some help, big time, big time, big time. I think they're gonna have to go get some. All right, so let's see. So finally, we get to Khaleesi, as you started us off with. And, she's marching around and she's freeing cities. So she comes to this new city. I think it's called Menin or something like that. And they're all sitting on the wall up there. And she's got her army down there. And they send out their champion. And, he's a proper looking knight kind of guy. He's got a horse. He's got a lance. And the idea is... they send out their champion, and then Khaleesi sends out her champion, and the champions duke it out, and whoever wins, wins, So, first she's got to get a champion, and she ends up using the new guy. He really is the new guy, because they switched him from last year. So he wants to fight for her. So she said, okay, have at it. So, they get ready to spar out, and here comes, this walled city's champion. He's riding his horse, and he's got a lance, and the new guy, he's just standing there, and the guy with the horse almost to him. And then Khaleesi champion throws a knife at him and takes him out, knocks him down, and then takes the sword and cuts his head off. It was very easy.
It was. Easy. I was like, what? That's it?
Yeah, that was about the quickest fight I ever saw. And so, it pretty much ended after that. And so we'll have to see what happens next week. So overall, it was a decent episode, though you were bored, kind of.
The most action was Khaleesi at the end.
Yeah, and that's why they put it the Game of Thrones has a pattern. You can see it. They're gonna have the action at the end.
The best part of the scene.
Yeah, the best part of the series of that particular series is gonna always happen at the end. And if they can, they like to give you, a
cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm. But, so when they kind of did this time with Khaleesi, because you know what's going to happen. Because she asks everybody, she does her speech about how she wants to free them, and they need to make up their minds to kill their captors and just come on out. And, for any slave, that's, a decision to make. Yeah. So, but it was a decent episode. Still looking forward to see what happens next week.
Alright guys, so thanks for tuning in to this week's recap. Be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. We lost a legend, and that is the Ultimate Warrior wrestler. And my dad is actually going to be talking a little bit more about him.